Today's topic is run or reassure. What is your relationship template? So I will talk today for about maybe 8 to 10 minutes. So run or reassure. When we are triggered in a relationship, then we default to one of two ways of reacting. So on one end of the continuum, our reaction might be to want to run away, to emotionally disconnect or to distance ourselves from the other person. Or on the other end of the continuum, we might be triggered and then we want to run towards the other person. We want to seek reassurance, we want to give reassurance, and we call this that we want to fuse with the other person. Okay, so let's make this really applicable to your life. So I want you to think of a recent example when you've had some tension or some angst in an adult relationship. So this could be with your partner, or it could be with a family member or a friend. So think of that example now. Okay, now if you're feeling a little bit tight in the chest from thinking about your example, then you've probably chosen a really good example. But I don't want you to go back into the memory of what happened. What I want you to reflect on is, how did you react to that situation, to that person? So think about that now. Okay, now my other question is, how long did that reaction last for? Was it a few minutes? Was it a few hours? Was it a few days? For some people, their reaction can actually last for many years. So you think through from your own example. Okay, so you might have been thinking, okay, so when I got triggered, Kate, then what I wanted to do was I wanted to just get away. I wanted to leave the house, or I had to go into another room because I needed time on my own. Or you might have thought, okay, well, how I reacted was I was still in the room with the person, but I was emotionally cut off. I did not want to look at them. They would ask me questions and I would give them one-word answers. I emotionally just distanced away. So if that was your reaction in your example or something similar, then maybe your default position is to run and distance when you get triggered in a relationship. You might be listening and you might be thinking, no way, that was not me. I did the total opposite. And so then you might have examples of, I couldn't stand to be alone. I wanted to be even closer to the person that I was in conflict with. I needed them to reassure me, or I wanted to give them reassurance. You might be thinking, I couldn't stand being away from them, and I had other things to do that day, but they were my focus and my priority. Okay, so if that was similar to some of your examples that you were thinking through, well then maybe your default position is to want to run towards in a relationship when you get triggered, to fuse with the other person. Now, they are different in the way that they play out, different reactions, but they're fueled underneath by the same thing, and that is anxiety and stress and angst. So that's what brings people in to see me. They come in, they say, oh, it doesn't feel good in my relationship. I want it to feel differently. And so that's what I'm going to run you through today, some steps about how you can also work through bringing down that anxiety in your reaction in relationships. Because when people come in and talk to me about these things, the goal of where we're heading is to move out of that reactive state on either the run or the reassure side of things and move into the middle. Move into a more calmer, grounded, centered, mindful and thoughtful position in the relationship. So family therapists call this the emotionally mature position. Okay, sounds simple, but it's not. So how do we do this? How do I coach people to do this? Well, first of all, we have to bring awareness into our minds. We need to be clear on what is my relationship template? What is my default position? And so I ask the people I work with to be detectives, to be curious, to think about their different relationships, and to evaluate if I'm in angst with that person. Do I run away or do I run towards? Then, after you become clearer about what your template is, the next step in the process is catching it. We are human. We are always going to be triggered in relationships. That's just the way it is. And so we can't ever stop or prevent ourselves from reacting. The best thing that we can do is, once we have started to react, is to catch it and try to catch it earlier each time. So that's the next step in the process. Catch yourself when you're reacting. Go, oh, yep, that's what Kate was talking about. The next step in the process is to push the pause button, to pause yourself from running away or to pause yourself from running towards. Because this is then your opportunity to move into that middle position of more calm, centered, and grounded. And how you do that is you use all your great self-soothing skills, whatever works for you, whether it's deep breathing, whether it's relaxation, whether it's going for a walk, taking a bubble bath, whatever you do that works. The next step in the process is, now that your body is feeling calmer, then your brain is feeling calmer. And when your brain is calmer, you think more clearly. So once you are thinking more clearly, that's then the time to think, how do I want to actively react here? What choice do I want to make? So we want to move away from unconscious automatic reactions to more intentional actions or steps that we choose to take. The next step in the process is to then make a plan around it. You've thought it through how you'd like to respond. You make a plan about how you're going to do that, and then you give it a go. So I know that it sounds simple and easy, but we know that it's not. And this is a journey that everybody is on. Nobody is in that emotionally mature space 100% of the time. This is a lifelong journey for everybody.